This episode is sponsored by The Real Cost. If you vape, you could be inhaling toxic metals that can damage your lungs. From the publishers of open world games with more filler than Cardi B,
Coronavirus!
comes a new entry in their flagship FPS series that's anything but a far cry from the previous ones. But this time it has the chicken guy from Breaking Bad.
Hello!
Far Cry 6. Parachute into the Far Cry formula once again. That abandoned the whole super mutant soldiers thing a long time ago for a series about making stuff explode in fake countries, with a new title that hits all the notes of the previous games, featuring a megalomaniac antagonist you meet in the beginning of the game, an absurd amount of side quests and objectives to check off, wild animals to murder, a metric ton of firepower, and a protagonist with Wolverine's healing factor and a degree in back alley surgery. Ew. Then realize that despite how jam-packed it is with content, it's all content you've already played to death, in an entry that feels like it's missing some of the spirit that made the other Far Cry stand out. But if you're here for the gunfights and vehicular madness, you'll appreciate how much more Far Cry they were able to jam into this one. To be fair, expecting anything more from Far Cry is like going to SummerSlam for the nuanced performances. You know what you're going for, and it's to watch two men covered in baby oil hit each other with chairs. Rebel against the government of Yara, as the reluctant ex-soldier turned guerrilla Danny Rojas must liberate a country ravaged by slavery and corruption because of some sort of cancer-curing tobacco.
Daddy, this tastes like Grandma!
Then systematically dismantle the opposing forces by killing the prerequisite amount of mini-bosses, and join the rebel groups together to finally confront the big bad in a by-the-books narrative about overthrowing a tyrannical government with a little daddy drama in between that's supposed to be carried by the over-the-top characters, but are easily forgotten about after you meet the 15th ridiculous person. But honestly, the most outlandish thing about this game is the fact that your phone can survive bullets, grenades, and alligator attacks, but when I drop mine while on the toilet, I have to get the screen replaced.
How the f*** is this still working?
Fire wildly at everything that moves in Far Cry 6's signature gunfights. Then explore all the varying approaches that let you take in any given situation as you go in, quiet or loud, shooting everyone in the head without much thought about using a sniper rifle at an uncomfortably close range, or just shank a guy in broad daylight while using your amigos like a homicidal Pokemon trainer. Then wield an arsenal of weapons, each with their own upgrades and bullet types, against waves of idiotic AI who will have you switching ammunition to match the different types of enemies, or would if you didn't immediately forget and empty a whole clip into a guy, until your Supremo meter builds up and you unleash a devastating AoE attack, as Far Cry highlights their crowning feature by giving you as many options as possible, and isn't stingy about the utter mayhem you can cause. Is it overkill to use an attack helicopter to hunt a mongoose? Yes it is. But am I gonna keep doing it? Abso-flippin'-lutely. Search every nook and cranny of Yara, where you'll travel the island by air, land, or sea, and manically pick up any chest that suddenly appears on your minimap, as you raid compounds for no other reason except that you happen to run into it, and get sidetracked from the main story with all the other content that they throw at you constantly. In a paradise for people who love these types of exploration games, but a nightmare for anyone that neurotically needs to check off every single thing they come across. That once again showcases Ubisoft's philosophy of game design, adding so much stuff that it feels like you're working in an Amazon fulfillment center. At least if you pee in a bottle now, it's just for fun. So launch that Supremo, and get ready for a revolution in a sixth Far Cry that, despite being a bit uninspired, is still more of the wanton violence that made these games fun in the first place. Or at the very least, a great opportunity to listen to Giancarlo Esposito wax poetic about being a communist or whatever.
You are a lion, and we eat the f***ing lambs.
Ooh, goosebumps. Starring Dora the Exploder, Revolutionary Girl Garcia, One Man Army, Antifa, Go Diego Go, Los Presidente Hermanos, and the most important feature of all, the many animals you can pet. Who's handsome, Krog? You are. Yes, you are. Better cry far. You know what minigame slaps? The chicken fighting game. Someone sign my change.org to get this into Evo. Vaping can expose you to toxic metals like nickel, chromium, and lead that can damage your lungs. Greetings, stranger. I'm not surprised to see your kind here. Many adventurers have traveled this way since the recent troubles began. Violins are too mellow. We should all play a cello. Sometimes I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion. Okay, Steven, that feels weird, but I'll allow it.